Well, just 4 teams remain in the National Premier League's finals race, and tonight it's a state of origin battle as New South Wales Blacktown City FC meet Queensland's Moreton Bay United. Both were victorious last weekend in impressive fashion, and they'll look to secure a spot in the final in their first forays into the competition. Adam Santarossa here with you from Lily's Football Centre in Sydney's West, and joining me tonight for the clash is Football New South Wales senior journalist Mickey Brock. Mickey, welcome.
Good evening, Adam. Good evening, viewers. And what a prospect of a game we've got in store for us tonight. But maybe this weather is not going to help either.
Yeah, terrible conditions out here at Lily's Football Centre tonight. The players not too far away. They're just making their way onto the ground. And who do you think these conditions suit? I mean, it's an artificial surface, so it won't have the greatest of impact on the game, but still not a true surface at the end of the day.
Not a true surface, but obviously you've got to fancy the home side. They haven't had to travel like Moreton Bay have, coming down from Queensland, and I'm sure that the weather was slightly better up there than it is down here. They've come into this, so may not be the easiest of conditions for them to adapt to on this evening.
All right, we'll run you through the lineups. We'll start with Blacktown City FC. They'll play in their customary 4-3-3 tonight. Nenad Vekic in goal, Giorgio Speranza, Zach Cancross, Ian Montford and Yanni Fragogiannis, the back four. Sasamat Sura will anchor the midfield alongside Yanni Picardis and Daniel Araujo, and the front three of Mitchell Malia, Joey Gibbs and Travis Major. For Moreton Bay United, Luke Borrian in goals, Ryoto Nakauka, Alex Henderson, Scott Stewart and Jake Cuschieri are the back four. Three-man midfield of Stephen Green, Matthew Capello and Liam Privitera, and a front three of Charles Mendy, Royce Brownlee and Jackson Hall. They are Moreton Bay United tonight. Both teams playing 4-3-3.
Of course, Blacktown playing in their traditional black strip. The Jets, they'll be playing in a white top, so the yellow stockings, I should say. So everyone knows which team's which.
Yeah, Moreton Bay traditionally play in a yellow and black kit, but they're in their change strip tonight of largely all white, and Blacktown, as Brocky said, in their customary black strip. It's been a busy week for Blacktown, a busy couple of weeks. They were in the NPL Grand Final a fortnight ago. It was disappointment for them, going down to Bonnyrigg 2-0.
Certainly was. They've been the best side in the Premier League all season. There's no two ways about it, but perhaps that game was just one game too far for them to bridge. Yeah,
it's been... The big occasion has been a bit of a slippery one for Blacktown City FC this season. Of course, we mentioned the grand final. They also lost the Waratah Cup final to Sydney United during the season, and also the FFA Cup against the Metro Stars, who are the reigning National Premier League champions. So it hasn't been good. They've only lost 2 games all year in the league, but away from that, it's been a slippery slope.
It seems to be that the big occasion has actually eluded them somewhat, but of course they did win last year, the grand final. So success isn't a non-visitor to them. It's something that they are used to, but this season they've just not been able to get that final goal in the big games.
Well, Blacktown City FC have a ton of A-League experience. Mitchell Malia has spent some time at Sydney FC, Joey Gibbs at the Newcastle Jets most recently, and Travis Major come back from the Central Coast Mariners. Sasamatsura is another who's played overseas, so they are so experienced and they know what it takes. But as we mentioned, it's been difficult in these big games, but largely pretty much a whitewash to be premiers of the NPL of New South Wales.
Well, it has been. I mean, you always expect Blacktown to be up there. They're one of these clubs that's extremely well run, as I assume that Moreton Bay United is as well. But it's a case that they need to go out and play their game tonight and let Moreton Bay worry about them, as opposed to looking up and picking up individual players. If they win their one-on-one matches, then you've got to fancy them at home.
And Moreton Bay, of course, have A-League experience as well. Their captain, Royce Brownlee, the most goals in the history of the Queensland NPL. So certainly a talent, and look for him tonight. He's played at a host of former NSL and A-League clubs, so he's certainly the goals for them. But all in readiness here at Lily's Football Centre. A decent crowd is out. They've braved the somewhat cyclonic conditions we experienced earlier, and the rain seems to have lightened a little bit, but it is still there, and I think we'll have it for the next 90 minutes. Adam Santarossa here with you alongside Mickey Brock. Strap yourselves in. It is the semi-final in the National Premier League's final series. We are underway. Blacktown will get first possession. Picardis links up with Montford. Here's Cancross, the captain, of course, was sent off in the NPL Grand Final against Bonnyrigg. Obviously a different competition tonight, so he's eligible to play. Montford's got some work to do, but he's done it well to win the throw.
Well, that's what Blacktown are going to try and do early on, is just keep hold of the ball and make Moreton Bay open up a wee bit and give them a little test that way rather than go for the long ball over the top.
Well, they've conceded the throw early here, Blacktown, so perhaps an early chance. Brownlee tries to link up. He can't quite do so. It's Blacktown turn it straight over. Previtera cleaning up for Moreton Bay. There's Brownlee we spoke about. And there's a sign of the conditions having an effect. As Malia cleans up, Brownlee does well. Here's the first chance for Brownlee. And I tell you what, it wasn't too far away.
Typical sign of a true striker. One little sniff at goal and they're on to it straight away.
We mentioned he's experienced and he can find the back of the net. As I said, most goals in the history of the NPL of Queensland. And Moreton Bay have started well. Here's Mendy. Can't quite link up with his teammates. Scored a goal last week, was pivotal in the other two in their 3-1 win over the Edgeworth Eagles, the premiers of northern New South Wales.
Well, both sides, from all accounts, are two good ball-playing sides, so we won't be looking for that long ball over the top too much, unless the conditions really go bad.
Picatas, here's Malia. Trying to run at his defender, but well done in the end. It was Kusheri cleaning up. Now Mendy's got some space. He certainly has pace. He's got two to beat, and Cancross is across well.
That's something you expect from the Blacktown captain. He's very, very strong at the back. Goes in hard, but fair.
Mendy, once again, we mentioned, on the goal sheet last week, was the man of the match for Moreton Bay United. Araujo put under pressure, but he goes long. To no one in particular. And Picatas will clean up. Good to see him on the sheet tonight. He hasn't seen the greatest of action behind Connor Evans and Daniel Araujo in the midfield. He gets his opportunity. Here's Malia now. Does well to beat his man. Can he get the delivery in? It's a good ball. Matsura's on the scene. Matsura! It's come off the post.
Beautiful work from Malia down the left there. Went past two players, got the cross in. Unlucky, hit the post. Early signs.
Well, we're centimetres away from our opening goal, and Blacktown City, they haven't started slow here tonight. Matsura very nearly made it 1-0. As Borean restarts this again. Of course, Blacktown City FC are missing a few players. Patrick Antelmi suspended tonight. Red card last weekend. Connor Evans still on the shelf. He's looking to be out about 6 to 8 weeks with a knee injury. Danny Choi is on the bench tonight. He was injured in the grand final. So not at full strength, but such is their quality. Plenty of players to choose from. Good ball from Malia. Gibbs links up well. Good ball. Speranza overlapping. Can he get the cross in? Well done by Stewart in mopping up. So a corner for Blacktown.
This is the way Blacktown can play. They're applying the early pressure. They're winning their one-on-ones. The ball passing and is just superb at this stage. But let's see what happens from this corner.
Just looking out at the conditions, it seems like the rain has perhaps stopped. Certainly lessened than what it was at kickoff. Sent in. It's a dangerous-looking ball across the face. No one on the end of it. It'll be a goal kick. And Brocky, you spoke to Blacktown coach Mark Crittenden before the game. What did he have to say?
I did, and he said basically that what I said earlier, it's a matter of each of the Blacktown boys has got to win their own one-on-one battles, and if they do that, then they don't have to worry too much about Moreton Bay. But end of the day, it comes down to whether they pick themselves up from the grand final defeat and so on, and whether they can get themselves up for this game. I mean, it's a prestigious competition, and it will get better and better as the years go by with the weight it carries.
So Fraggianis has some work to do as he's penned into the corner. Turns straight and gives it straight back to Moreton Bay, so a chance if they can work it. They've got numbers in the box, but it just breaks down. And of course, the winner of the NPL Final Series gets direct qualification to the FFA Cup. That's how the Metro Stars qualified for this year's tournament. And as I mentioned off the top, they defeated Blacktown City FC in the round of 16 here at Lily's Football Centre. Malia has some pace down this left-hand flank. Can he provide the cross? It's a good-looking ball. Just needed the finish. It was Matsura again, I think.
It certainly was.
In fact, it was Travis Major.
Sorry.
They've all gone with a clean-shaven head.
Yes,
Certainly
but you've got to say that Malia is giving Kashira a right old look, seeing to down this left flank. That's the second time he's burnt him in as many minutes.
Has a bit of a point to prove as well. Mitchell Malia didn't feature in the grand final, came off the bench late. Would have burned him, of course, a player of his quality. Gets his chance tonight, of course, with Choi and Antelmi not in the starting side. As the ball runs out for a goal kick. We mentioned the talent that Blacktown have. Nenad Vekic, I know we're both fans, following him in the NPL of New South Wales.
He's a very, very good kid. Great goalkeeper. A lot of promise.
Of course, goalkeeper of the year in the NPL of New South Wales this year, Nenad Vekic, and one earmarked potentially for future in the A-League.
He wouldn't be out of place in the A-League.
Of course, you can say that for a number of keepers across the national Premier Leagues. Luke Borrian's had international experience in Italy, the Moreton Bay keeper, so we are seeing some quality out there tonight. Here's Pakatis, another early touch from him. As we mentioned, someone with A-League experience with the Wanderers has had to come back to the NPL for his opportunity. It's that man again. Speranza. Well done from Mendy, though. Forced the turnover, but Blacktown win it back. Here's Gibbs. And just breaks down. Malia wanted it, but Cuschieri will clean up for Moreton Bay. Moreton Bay coach Adam Piddick was here last Sunday, seeing Blacktown defeat Canberra FC. And they've left no stone unturned in their preparation. Here's Pakatis. Blacktown got some numbers if they can move it quickly. Matsura looks to do that. He's Major. Good cross in. Araujo's on the scene, but it'll just break down. Moreton Bay will have to get it clear. Green has had his pocket picked. Matsura. Araujo. Major. Cross to the outside of the foot. Perhaps a little bit too cute. Moreton Bay get it clear. Picardis' ball is not to the intended target.
But already you see that Blacktown has pushed Moreton Bay way back into their own half. They're pushing them and condensing them back there. They're getting the numbers forward and they're using their pace down the flanks. They're doing extremely well in these opening stages.
Borrian goes with a long throw. Brownlee chests it down well. Here's Green. He's going to try it from range and never on target. But a sign they're not just going to lie down, Moreton Bay.
Well, that's what you should be doing. If the opportunity is there, you've got to take it. You can't think, oh, I can't shoot from this distance. You've got to take it when it's available. It's not going to come back for you.
So Blacktown put under pressure by Brownlee there. He will work tirelessly tonight. We already mentioned his experience. He can find the back of the net. Of course, played with the Queensland Roar in the early seasons of the A-League and then the Wellington Phoenix, so he won't be fazed by the occasion tonight.
That's one thing you can say about both sides. They do seem to have a good mixture of youth and the old heads that can calm it down.
Here's Cuschieri. He's got support in the middle, but his pass is overcooked. He can't find Capello. And Blacktown have possession, and this is where Blacktown is so good when they're allowed to dictate terms. How do you counter that?
Well, Moreton Bay's got to push themselves forward, the Jets. They have to, because if they allow Blacktown to run rampant, going at their own pace, at their own free will, they're going to get caught. They're going to get stung. But, maybe they're just sitting back and seeing what the opposition's offering.
Cancross goes with the long ball. Look for that tonight. That's a feature of his game and Blacktown's game. So he looks to unlock the pace going forward of Malia, Major and Gibbs. As Moreton Bay go for their own long ball. Mendy can't quite bring it down. Now Vekic. Fragoyanis under a bit of pressure, but does it well. And switch straight to Cuschieri. Heads it well. Mendy's going to try to keep that in, but can't quite do so. Of course, Moreton Bay, winners of the Queensland NPL Grand Final, 2-1 over the Brisbane Strikers. Was some game. Jordan Farina scoring the winner, who's on the bench tonight. Hopefully get the chance to talk about him in more detail as Vekic is put under a bit of pressure. Hearts beating around Lily's Football Centre for a moment, but free kick now. Cancross now. Links up with Speranza. Malia. Just tries to do too much, and Moreton Bay will win the throw. Here is Mendy. Got some work to do. He'll be throwing that frame about tonight. So physical. He's got pace, really got all those attributes you want. Spent some time in the lower leagues of France before coming out to Australia. And he could be someone, we talk about these NPL players looking to go to that next level. He could be one of them. Here's Araujo. He gets pulled off it and wins the free kick.
I think games like this are a fantastic advert for what's coming through in the various systems in the various states, and I think really and truly this is something that should be embraced big time, and this competition is absolutely fantastic for that.
Of course, we have to mention they are playing for bragging rights. They're representing Football New South Wales in this competition, and looking on previous seasons, Bonnyrigg made the final last year. Sydney United won it in the first inaugural NPL final series. So there is a bit of pressure on Blacktown.
Well, there's no two ways about that, and I think that they've certainly got the wherewithal to rise to that occasion. But let's see what the Jets can do tonight.
Of course, Moreton Bay doing Queensland proud, and seems on how the points shake up after tonight, but given what they did last week in terms of hosting the final, you'd expect it would be the winner from tonight's game.
You would think so. I mean, the other semi-final tomorrow night, it depends on obviously which way that goes, but you know, points for winning, points for goals, points deducted for cautions, etc., etc. Be interesting. So, you know, if you win a comfortable 3-0, then you're in with a fantastic chance, obviously.
Of course, Blacktown winning 4-1 last weekend, and Moreton Bay 3-1 winners over Edgeworth. So both pretty prime positions to host the final if they are victorious tonight, but that's the key thing. Still a job to do, and we've only had 13 or so minutes here at Lily's Football Centre. Here's Malia now. Good touch from him. Speranza overlapping. We'll see that tonight. Both he and Fragayanas love to overlap and whip those balls in. Once again, Malia tries to be a little bit too cute, and Mendy picks his pocket. Moreton Bay look to break, but Blacktown get numbers behind the ball well. Oh, they've put them under pressure. Stewart can't quite get that one. Malia and Blacktown have some numbers if they can move it quickly. Here's a great chance, and there's the opening goal. Travis Major makes it 1-0, and Blacktown City FC will lead from the front.
All stemming from the poor pass from the left-hand side of at the back. Malia able to pounce on that, go past his marker yet again, put in a beautiful cross. Major connecting sweetly. What a fantastic goal. Blacktown 1, Jets 0.
And that's how quickly Blacktown can turn defence to attack. It's so electric, that front three. And Travis Major steals in and makes it 1-0. So it's up to Moreton Bay now to have a response, and on this opening 15 minutes, Brocky, you think that's a deserved goal?
I think so. I mean, Blacktown have certainly been the better of the two sides, but again, it could be a case that the Jets are sitting back to try and see what Blacktown are going to throw at them. But knowing Blacktown as we do, they are a very, very strong side, and you've played right into their hands by allowing them to dictate pace, dictate play.
Has, of course, given up leads on these big days. Preliminary final here about a month ago, they led 2-0 and lost 4-2. Of course, that FFA Cup, they were up 1-0 and lost 2-1 to the Metro Stars. So they have given up leads on big occasions, but certainly Moreton Bay have a job to do, because Sherry does well and he wins a free kick.
That'll be the worst thing for them if they decide that they're going to try and run riot now and push on too quickly and allow Moreton Bay to get back into this game.
Well, I think we've seen enough from Moreton Bay in the opening 15 that they're almost as deadly on the break. They've got their pace in Mendy and Brownlee. So
well, they're a threat. There's no two ways about that.
Are they a threat from this set piece? They go long. It's one in the air by Cancross. Cries for handball. It was Green in possession on the edge of the area. They go long in search of Brownlee, but it's all Blacktown at the back. Anywhere will do from Montford. And Moreton Bay in possession once again. Malia again. I think Cushieri is going to have a long night. I certainly know he'll be in for a game.
Where Moreton Bay are finding it difficult is when they get the ball, they're being pushed back right from inside their own half, almost from their 18-yard box, whereas when Blacktown are getting the ball, the Jets are sitting back a wee bit and allowing them to come out quite easily.
Yeah, they love to press Blacktown City FC, but sometimes they can't quite do that for the 90 minutes, and that's where we've seen them give up leads. So here we go as they search for another. They've got numbers forward. Here's Araujo trying to get the ball out from under his feet. He'll retain possession. Here's Malia. Can he provide the service? Thought he might pull the trigger on his own. Here is Malia. Does that now to the far post. Gives his header across the face, and it's away for now. He's Major again. Gibbs is in the middle. Can't find him though, and well cut out from Henderson. And Moreton Bay concede the throw. Henderson was on the score sheet in the NPL of Queensland Grand Final. Here's Gibbs, gets pushed off it. That'll be a battle tonight between those two, Gibbs and Henderson. Henderson's won this one. It'll be a goal kick.
But I think if we were looking at the stats at the moment, we'd find possession is certainly in the hands of Blacktown City, and also possession in the opposition half has been quite phenomenal towards Blacktown. They're really pressing deep.
Here's Borean, put under a little bit of pressure from his defence. Henderson will play short though. Good ball, almost cut out. Blacktown have it now though. Well done from Fragayanis. Gibbs gets clattered down. We wave play on. Kurt Arm's not going to blow a free kick there. Now Mendy. Cushieri, good ball from him. Mendy's got two to beat. And the most experienced Blacktown City FC defender in front of him in Zach Cancross, and he does it well.
Well, that's the thing you can always rely on with Cancross. He's able to read the ball, or read the situations very, very well and get himself across in cover for Speranza there. Although Speranza, in fairness, probably would have got to Mendy as well.
Well done by Privatera in the centre of the park for Moreton Bay. So they retain possession now all the way back to Borean. Now Stewart, it was he that was just too slow on the ball earlier. That's a free kick. We may see the first card of the night as well.
Looks like just a talking to for Capello.
So certainly.
But it was a strong talking to. There won't be a second opportunity.
That's the second time Scott Stewart almost caught out. A little bit too slow in clearing the lines. And a free kick from Blacktown. It is at some range, but you just never know.
I think from 30 yards they'll probably look to put it into the mix rather than have a pop at goal.
Joey Gibbs is over the ball. He is their free kick man, so you just never know with some of these strikers.
Well, from this angle, it'd have to be the keeper's top left.
It would be some goal. Of course, if you are just joining us, it is 1-0. Travis Major opening the scoring for Blacktown City. They are in search of their second. Sets it up for Matsura. He's going to try it from distance. Cannons into the defenders. Mendy's done well. Can't quite win possession for Moreton Bay, though. Malia links up. Well done from Henderson, I think it is, in cover.
Very impressed with Mendy. He's a bit of a handful, isn't he?
So Cancross now with it for Blacktown. Now Montford getting his opportunity tonight. Matt Lewis missing. That's a good ball again. Major trying to get on the end of it. Gibbs as well. Borean has to come off his line, but he does well.
Did well to shepherd that one out for the goal kick. Very, very well indeed, particularly under that pressure.
And of course, Blacktown City FC, we mentioned they're missing some key players tonight. No Patrick Antelmi, he's suspended. But one player is missing, Connor Evans. He's out injured with a knee injury. Someone that was at the NPL Grand Final. I think he was a real loss for them.
Without doubt. But
we'll hold the phone. Major sends it in, and less said about that cross, the better. But I definitely felt his energy was lost on Grand Final day.
Certainly, I think the game that they had against Apia the week before, when they 6 goals, that was their Grand Final. I think after that, it was difficult for them to raise their tempo again for the final itself, which is a shame.
Cries for handball from Brownlee, but he's done well. Mendy, he's got numbers in the box if he can use them. It's well cut out, though, by Montford. And it'll be a corner to Moreton Bay, their first of the game. In fact, their second of the game.
I mean, Montford hasn't looked out of place in this side, has he?
Well, it's a side that exudes confidence, and as you're a youngster coming in, you'll certainly won't be too phased. Taken short, though, by Moreton Bay. Mendy's got to chase this one. Certainly being a presence up in that forward line tonight. And free kick to Blacktown City FC. So we've gone almost 23 minutes here at Lily's Football Centre. How have you seen it, Brocky?
Pretty much one-way traffic. A couple of half chances at best for the Jets, but Blacktown, they're dictating the game. They're being allowed to dictate the game in some stages, and of course they're a goal to the good.
So Vekic gets another touch. I think I said earlier the rain was stopping. It certainly seems to have lifted again in tempo, so I think it's going to be with us for most of the night. So Montford plays short. Nice interchange of passes in midfield from Blacktown, but Matsura sends it into touch.
But just prior to this passage of play, when Vekic had the ball back in his own goal area, there was no pressure on him at all. He could take his time to pick his pass to whoever he wanted. Whereas look at it now, Blacktown, they're into the Jets immediately. They've got the ball.
Yeah, nice control there from Brownlee, but he just couldn't find Stephen Green in support.
Again, no pressure at the back. No one coming forward to try and create anything. Totally different, both sides.
It's something we haven't spoken about. We mentioned the surface is a little bit different from what Moreton Bay are used to, but also the travel. I mean, as a semi-professional footballer, it's certainly something you're not used to.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of factors. The weather, the pitch, the travel. There's an awful lot of things to take into consideration. I mean, as a semi-professional, it's not like they're doing it every week, travelling these distances.
Blacktown have possession once again. As Fragoyanis goes long, trying to find Major, our goal scorer. He does well. Brushes off Nakauka, who went off injured last week after 30 minutes, so he was in some sort of doubt for this game, but they've named him, so they must have confidence, and it's opened up again. Malia stretches and just can't quite reel that in. Kasheri does well in cover. Links up with Brownlee. Doesn't have a lot in support. Green's header's cut out. Good to see Yanni Picardas getting involved tonight. I mentioned earlier, hasn't seen a lot of first-team action this year.
But such is the Blacktown system that if a player is out, somebody else can come and slot in. They play the same system right through all the grades.
And here's a chance. Kushieri plays it through the middle. Thought it may just open up for Brownlee. They're going to have to scurry here. Montford gets it away. Moreton Bay certainly not out of things. Cancross had to clear that. Sends it into the stands, and Royce Brownlee was certainly lurking with intent.
I suppose in about the last 5 minutes or so, the Jets have certainly started to come back into the game. They're growing a little bit in stature, but they're still being bullied basically off the ball. This Blacktown side, it's a big, strong, tough unit. So they really need to pick their passes a little bit better and to put a little bit more pressure on Blacktown, because they're just allowing them to play their own game at the moment.
Of course, Moreton Bay, such a success, only formed in 2012. And in 2015, they've done the double, premiers and champions. Of course, looking to be the national champions, winners of the National Premier League Final Series, and as I said, book their place in the FFA Cup next year.
Well, that's a huge carrot to dangle in front of the sides, isn't it? Not only that, but being National Premier League's champion of Australia, that's a very prestigious title to hold.
Of course, there is some real quality in that NPL of Queensland. Brisbane Strikers, Palm Beach Sharks, two sides we've seen in the FFA Cup. And they disposed some quality last weekend. The Edgeworth Eagles, winners of Northern New South Wales. Here's a chance for Major. Does well. Thought that would have been a free kick.
Looked very, very suspicious. Henderson putting his back leg out, or his right leg out there, and Travis Major seeming to go over it, but play on.
A few cries here in the grandstand in front of us for the free kick, but referee says play on. Nice work from Araujo. Here's Matsura. Looks like he might pull the trigger, but he licks with Major. He'll go all the way back to Picardas. His touch was a little heavy, and he's given Speranza some work to do. Here's Araujo. Well done, though, by Cuscieri. Here's Mendy. He's been a feature tonight for Moreton Bay United. Oh, and he comes together with Speranza. Play on. Here's Malia. We talked about their transition. Here's Malia, lovely cut back, and for a moment I thought Gibbs was going to tap it into the net, but Moreton Bay got defenders back. And with Scott Stewart redeeming himself for an earlier mistake.
Well, that's the beauty of having Kurt Ams as the referee with A-League experience. He does let the game flow. He's not a whistle-happy chappie. He'll assess a situation and play the advantage wherever possible.
You may have noticed these conditions not helping my voice. It is starting to break a little bit. I've been fighting a cold, so apologies for that. But game has been red hot as we tick close to the half-hour mark. Now Picartas.
As you can probably hear being picked up on the mics, the crowd are starting to get a little bit raucous.
Here is Malia. It's been good tonight. He'll get it back. Nice touch from Araujo. And well done from Stewart in cover.
And he had to be inch perfect with that tackle, otherwise that was another penalty. It was a very good tackle in there.
So throw-in taken quickly. Araujo tries to roll his defender, Matsura. Come all the way back to Montford. I think Mark Crittenden will be pretty happy with what he's seen from Blacktown so far in the opening half hour.
Very difficult to tell with Critto. He's always very placid. You never know whether he's happy, sad, or angry, or whatever.
Well done from Malia. Links for Speranza. It's a good ball. It's deflected. It's in the back of the net.
Henderson own goal.
It's come off the arm of Alex Henderson, and it's a disaster for Moreton Bay. Just as they had their best moments in this match, it's a wicked cross in, and you really can't do anything about that. And Blacktown City FC extend their lead. They lead 2-0.
Very, very unlucky there with the flick up, but came off of his body. He had no chance to stop that or react quickly enough to get out of the way, and unfortunately it's ended up in the back of the net, 2-0 down.
Well, Luke Borrian was
And a sub, it looks like.
Wrong-footed. We are going to get a change. And it's going to be Jake Kushieri, the right back. We mentioned he certainly in the thick of things. And Matthew Zapponi is going to come on to take his place. So they're not happy with what Mitchell Marley is doing down that left-hand flank for Blacktown, the right-hand flank of Moreton Bay. And Adam Pittick has gone to the bench. And he made a similar change last weekend on 32 minutes. Nakaoka was withdrawn on that occasion for Zapponi. But tonight, Kushieri, it's an early shower for him, and Matthew Zapponi takes his place. So
I feel sorry for the lad, but he just can't live with the pace of Malia.
There's not many that can. And we mentioned, I asked the question moments ago, how was Mark Crittenden feeling? He's a lot happier now.
I should think he is, but you'd never know, would you? There was no sort of real reaction coming from the dugout.
Of course, they are smarting. Just a fortnight ago, they lost 2-0 to Bonnyrigg in the NPL New South Wales Grand Final. That was a good ball. Zapponi was trying to get on the end of it. Just lost his footing now at a key moment. And they'd be smarting from that. They were largely runaway premiers, 5-point gap at the end of the season, but couldn't get the job done on Grand Final day.
Well, that's the beauty of this particular competition. It's matching the champions up and seeing who's got what. It doesn't mean that the Queensland Premier League is any lesser than the New South Wales Premier League, but what it does mean is that the teams on the day, playing their own particular style, getting on top.
That is the beauty of cup football. It is on the day, the 90 minutes. Nothing that's come before really matters. And it's Blacktown City FC on top here. As I say that, pass is a little off key. That's a good ball. And they've sprung them here for the moment, Moreton Bay. Cross comes in. Brownlee's on the scene. In fact, it was Stephen Green.
Vekic quickly off his line to snaffle that one up.
Hasn't had a lot to do, Nenad Vekic, so far tonight, but the likes of Brownlee and Mendy will no doubt keep him on his toes. Jackson Hall, the man who provided that cross.
Well, even Borean hasn't particularly had that much to do, but unfortunately he's had to get the ball out the back of the net twice. Very, very unfortunate.
Turnover, though. Crucial in midfield. That pass needed to be better, though, and Mendy can't win possession for Moreton Bay. Speranza links with Malia. Well done from Aurelio. Beats a couple. Gets it back now. Lovely ball, and there's some acres of space for Fragoyanis now. Plays it short to Major. One of our goal scorers tonight. He wins a corner for Blacktown.
I think probably the biggest difference, other than the high pressing game of Blacktown, has been when they're working their 1-2s and, as people say, the triangles. It's just coming off for them. They can't seem to be putting a foot wrong at the moment.
So plenty of tall timbers sent forward. Cancross, Matsura in the box. That corner wouldn't have helped them. Didn't beat the first defender. Now Aurelio. Cross comes in. It's a dangerous one. Borean has to make the save. The crumbs for to Major. He tried something audacious. That was out of the Karate Kid, that one.
Yeah, Mr. Miyagi wouldn't be happy with that attempt, I'll tell you that much. But it was there on the spot. It would have come down. It could have been 3.
Yeah, could have had his second as well. That's a dangerous long ball from Cancross, but Nakauka did well.
Mendy switching over to the left.
Well, it's been a feature. Mendy and Kasheri, when he was on, linked up well down that right-hand flank, but the thing is there, as soon as they lose possession, Mitchell Malia was away down the same flank, so perhaps they're trying to get them away, but Malia has switched flanks as well.
With Zapponi coming in, obviously, at right back, maybe they feel that Mendy might get better service down that left-hand side.
Here is Malia coming a little bit central. Good layoff from Gibbs. And once again, Malia tried to beat a couple, but did well to only concede the throw. As we tick over to the final 10 minutes here in the first half at Lily's Football Centre. If you are just joining us, Blacktown City FC lead 2-0. Adam Santarossa and Mickey Brock here with you on a cold night here in Sydney's west. Rain coming down, but hasn't affected the football. Here's Araujo trying to link up with Gibbs, and well done. In cover was Stewart. Taken quickly. Referee just got in the way there for a moment. Here's Matsura. Montford. We mentioned his involvement tonight. Done pretty well for a youngster. Hasn't had a lot to do. And turned over once again. It's that press of Blacktown working well. And Mendy does well to come in and pinch it back for Moreton Bay. Nakayuka just slipping. Opens up for Major. Cross comes in. Gibbs' his touch is a little heavy, but retains possession. Picardis is going to try it from distance, but Borean will make the save.
And there's the difference this evening is shooting on sight. You've got to take the opportunity. If nothing else is on, you've only got a split second to make up your mind whether you're taking that shot or not.
Yeah, it's confidence, isn't it? And you've got that when you're 2-0 up.
Absolutely.
As Borean just puts it into touch, and Blacktown will have it back with Speranza. Now Picardis dropping deep. We mentioned Borean had some overseas experience. He's played for USC Colonnese in Italy before returning to the Queensland NPL.
I mean, the only worrying aspect for Blacktown City at this point in time will be with the high pressing game. It does expend a lot of energy after a long, gruelling season and making the grand final, as for both teams, obviously. But they're the ones that are expending at the moment. So the Jets could be something like a bit of a boxer.
Yeah, that's
sucking it up on the ropes.
That's been the question. And they have been caught out in recent weeks, Blacktown. So we'll keep an eye on that. Here's Malia. He's been an absolute nuisance tonight down that flank. He's already confined Kasheri to the sidelines, and Zapponi has his work cut out, the substitute. Matsura. Right. Have to find a way to get Royce Brownlee into this game. Charles Mendy has been in the thick of things, but haven't mentioned Brownlee too often alongside Jackson Hall. Perhaps this is a chance. Brownlee throws the weight around, but well done, Montford. Now Picardis. Shows his coolness, of course, under 20 international for Australia, Yanni Picardis, before joining the Wanderers, and didn't see a lot of first team action there, but as we said, he is someone hoping to be in that shop window. He's seen some teammates in recent years go on to the A-League. Travis Major, Kieran Backus, Jacob Posco-Liero with the Mariners. So eyes are on this side. Speranza links with Malia. And Zapponi gives away the foul. More accidental than anything, I thought.
I would say so as well. I think that one was given for the surface. As it starts to team down again.
Yeah, rain just lifts in intensity, and we're just 5 minutes from half-time. We hope you are enjoying the coverage wherever you are around Australia, perhaps around the world. We are going worldwide. And
I do know there's a few people over in the UK that are listening in tonight and watching us on YouTube.
That's a lovely ball, splitting them again. Here's Malia. Gibbs is on the scene, and that's a great cover challenge from the substitute, Matthew Zapponi. And they concede the corner. We say a big hello to wherever you are around the world. National Premier League Series has certainly been entertaining.
You can't say this has been a dull game. It most certainly has not. But expected perhaps just a little bit more showing from the Jets, but they've just not been able to get it together.
Can they nick a third before the break and really drive that wedge into Moreton Bay? And it'll be a goal kick. Of course, our second semi-final tomorrow, Bayswater hosting Olympia FC. You can see that, of course, on nationalpremierleagues.com.au. Another live stream. Ensuring you don't miss a moment of the action. And that was an important cutout there by Fragigiannis because Mendy was away. And I don't think we have to tell too many people the danger of a 2-0 scoreline.
Oh, no. One of the worst score lines in football to defend, but you'd rather be 2-0 up than down.
And I think Australian football fans know exactly what I'm talking about, because it may just open up again for Blacktown. Major goes in ball to Pakatis. Now Cairncross. Well cut out by Zapponi again. And Moreton Bay will win the throw. Well won by Speranza. Zapponi thought he gave away a free kick there, but play on. The rain starts to hammer down here at Lily's Football Centre. As Borean cleans up. Well, we've had all 4 seasons today here in Sydney. It was bright sunshine around about 4 o'clock, and then the rain set in.
Well, about the only thing we haven't had is snow, and I'm not too sure about that. It's not on its way.
Well, not common in Sydney's west, but you just never know.
You never know. But Lilleholme Stadium has really come on extremely well the last few years, from 20-odd years ago when it was pretty much just a bunch of hills, to what it is today. There's a lot of work gone into this. It's a fantastic little place to come and play football these days.
Here's a chance for Moreton Bay. Jackson Hall with it. Links up with Previtera. Doesn't have a lot in front of him, so forced to go back. Now Henderson. Mendy, good touch. He's been a handful for Blacktown tonight. Still going, Mendy. And wins the free kick. Well done. Crowd not happy.
Certainly not very happy, but Mendy, that's his play all over. He's extremely strong on the ball.
Yeah, they need to find a way to get him more involved. This would be a blow for Blacktown if Moreton Bay can pull a goal back here. Mendy just can't link up with Jackson Hall. And we've mentioned countless times tonight just how lethal Blacktown can be on the break. In transition, Malia beats a couple again. Here's Matsura. I thought for a moment he was lining up the shot. So only stoppage time left here in the first 45 minutes. We're still awaiting the 4th official to signal that.
There can't be too much, maybe a minute.
Cairncross will go all the way back. 4th official raises his board now. It's just gone out on him. There it is, 1 minute.
But at the break, you've got to think that Jets coach Damien Zane is going to be obviously the unhappier of the two, because his team just don't seem to be able to live with Blacktown City at this stage.
Here's Speranza. Can they strike a blow just before the break? And Malia was his intention, but always going over the bar.
You've got to say Malia certainly the star of this first half. I mean, ably the front line up front for Blacktown has been fantastic, but Malia has actually been the standout for mine.
So Borean is going to get us back underway, and it should end the first half here at Lily's Football Centre. And here is Cancross. And there it is. That is half-time here at Lily's Football Centre. And it's been a good half for Blacktown City FC. They'll take a 2-goal lead into the break. Travis Major opening the scoring before an own goal by Alex Henderson made it 2-0. There's still 45 minutes to go. It's all Blacktown. They'll head to the sheds. It's Blacktown City FC 2, Moreton Bay United 0. All right, we're back here at Lily's Football Centre, and if you're just joining us, Blacktown City FC are in control, 2-0 over Moreton Bay United. They have a job to do, the boys from Queensland. Adam Santarossa here with you alongside Mickey Brock. And New South Wales turning on the wet weather this weekend for our visitors from Queensland. Driving rain for much of the night. It'll be with us for the next 45 as well. And Moreton Bay need some goals. And as I mentioned, Adam Santarossa here alongside Mickey Brock. Brocky, how'd you see that opening 45 minutes?
Total Blacktown domination, let's be honest about it. Mitch Marley's running right down the left. Major's doing well on the right. The standout, I suppose, for the Jets has been Mendy. He's been a handful to grasp, but it doesn't look as if he's on. Oh, yes, he is. He is there for this half. So it'll be very, very interesting. 2-0 lead for Blacktown. Can the Jets show a little bit more promise in this second half?
It looks like Moreton Bay United might be making another change. We'll wait and see on that one. Of course, Jake Cuscieri was subbed off 30 minutes into the opening half. Matt Zapponi replacing him at right back. Mitchell Malia has really been a threat all night down that flank. So they went for the change, and it seemed to work. But as we mentioned, there is some work to do from the boys from Queensland. Of course, both these sides were minor premiers of their competitions. Only Moreton Bay United were able to make that a championship, and there is confirmation of the change. And Jordan Farina comes on for Jackson Hall. So a man we're going to talk about a lot in this second half, the man that scored the winning goal in that grand final win for Moreton Bay United, Jordan Farina.
And again, coming off the bench in that. So, from all accounts, a very, very pacey little, usually out on the wing, but a pacey little player. Of course, famous name, but you can't compare young Jordan with his father, Frank, because that would be totally unfair.
Of course, former Socceroo and Socceroo's manager, Frank Farina, father. And Jordan has been with a host of youth sides in the A-League. Brisbane Roar, the Mariners, Gold Coast United as well. So he has some talent, and he has a knack for some important goals, and they'd love some here in the second half as we are underway here at Lily's Football Centre. I mentioned the driving rain we've had tonight. It's, if anything, increased in tempo during the halftime break. Artificial surface here at Lily's Football Centre. So not having the influence it probably would have on any other ground. Nice little interplay there. Here's Fragrodgianis. Now Major. Joey Gibbs hasn't really had that much of an impact in the opening 45. Thought the shot was going to come in from range, and the cross from Speranza.
But it's a good sign for Blacktown if you've got Fragrodgianis coming out from right back and coming down this wing. But we didn't see too much of that in the first half, except to the latter stages.
It'll be interesting to see what Moreton Bay coach Adam Pittick, has said in the halftime interval. He knows his team needs a response, but they had their moments in the first half.
They had a couple of half chances there, but half chances, they're either fantastic goals or nothing.
Of course, the second goal, it was a wicked deflection off Alex Henderson. It was a cruel blow because they were enjoying what was probably the best 10-minute spell they'd had in the game. As Blacktown surging forward again. Gibbs trying to get on the end of it. Moreton Bay will have possession though. Here is Brownlee coming deep to get on the ball. And the pass from Farina was cut out. As Moreton Bay apply the pressure. Blacktown so composed. They love to play out from the back. As I say that, there's the commentator's curse for tonight. Stephen Green steals possession. Cross is a good one. Cancross has to make a play for it and concedes a throw.
But Blacktown have never looked uncomfortable at the back. They've always seemed to have plenty of time on the ball. They've not been rushed. They've not been harried. It's been a bit too easy for them at the back.
Here's Joey Gibbs. He'll look up and see four Moreton Bay defenders. Links well, though, with Major. Here's Fragile Giannis running at defenders. Loves to get forward, Yanni, and that pass is poor. Well, I think criticism probably goes to Major there.
Just a wee bit. I mean, the pass was decent, but Major overran it, trying to catch it on the spin, but away from him. Maybe trying to be a little bit too cute.
Well done by Capello, but he's played it straight into the path of Blacktown. And I tell you what, it wasn't too far away from Picardas.
Now, that's the sort of half chance that wins you games. That whistle just past the post. The keeper was beaten. He wasn't getting to it.
It was Borient. He saw it whistle past the post, and he then handed the goal kick straight back to Blacktown City FC. So we spoke about the composure that Blacktown is showing. Certainly a lack of it from Moreton Bay in these opening 4 or so minutes. As I say that, Araujo put under a little bit of pressure by Moreton Bay as Mendy puts the pressure on Vekic, but he did well. He's Nakauka now. He gets bundled over from Matsuro, and surely a free kick, and it is. Nakauka, as we mentioned, has been under an injury cloud. He was subbed early last week against Edgeworth, but doesn't seem to be showing any sign of that tonight.
I think a real test would be if he was the right back and not the left, because that's where Blacktown have been their most potent tonight, is down that left wing.
As Henderson was put under pressure, and that translated to Nakauka, and he concedes the throw.
But Fragianis has definitely pushed on a wee bit more in this second half. There's no two ways about that.
Yeah, they've really been able to overlap at their will tonight and get in behind and whip those crosses in. Here's Matsura. It's a good ball from him. Malia. Touch was too heavy, though, and out for a throw.
Zbani did well to get across there and cut that one out.
Here is that man again in Malia. Had a teammate on, but decided to go himself. Fights hard, but concede a goal kick. Henderson forced to play out. Farina was put under a little bit of pressure. In fact, it was Capello. Those two look very similar, so it's going to be interesting now that that man is on. It was Capello that time. Links with Farina. Good ball from him, finding Brownlee, and just trod on the ball at the wrong moment. Here's Matsura. He's given Araujo a bit of work to do. Araujo's got 2 to beat, and numbers win out for Moreton Bay. Thought they won the throw as well, but referee says no. And we know Blacktown City FC are ultra attacking. It's really all they know. They love to score goals, but do they look to temper that somewhat as the second half ticks on?
I don't think so. I think they've got it in their mind that they want to get at least one more, if not 2, if they possibly can, because the points may give them the home final if they get through.
Yeah, exactly right. Great point there, Brocky. We can't forget that accumulation of points decides where the final is held. It could be here next weekend.
I think it's a very good idea because it's going to promote more attacking play instead of a stalemate.
There's sent long for Blacktown. Araujo's got some work to do to keep this in, but he does it well. And as I say that, he just slips over. Moreton Bay United have possession. Certainly can't count out our champions from Queensland. They've beaten some real quality to get here. It looked very impressive last weekend against Edgeworth, so all it takes is a goal to get right back into this game. And anyone that was here for the Blacktown FFA Cup clash with the Metro Stars, who, as I said, are the reigning champions. And free kick, so he's pulled that back. Thought Mendy would have had the advantage, but perhaps that broke down. Nakauka looked to take it quickly, but now finds the right spot. And that opening 45 in that FFA Cup clash, Blacktown were in control, and then an early goal in the second half for the Metro Stars certainly turned the game. So we've seen it happen before this season. They can't have it all their own way. Here is Farina. He's trying to link with Brownlee. His touch was heavy though. Nakauka put under pressure by Major. Play on. Mendy got an important touch and wins the throw. So once again, continues to be a nuisance, Mendy.
He's an absolute handful. There's no two ways about it. It's Mendy. He's certainly one to watch. He's very, very strong on the ball. Difficult to knock off. Got a bit of pace about him. A little bit of trickery in the footwork.
Yeah, that was a free kick every day of the week there. Farina bundled over by Major. And a chance for Moreton Bay. From the set piece, Capello, the tall timber go forward. They take it short. Blacktown caught asleep. Capello tries again. It's a good cross to the far post. Cries for a penalty from some on the bench from Moreton Bay, but
I think it was a hopeful shout.
Brownlee said he was getting his shirt tugged, but those claims are waved away. But certainly, once again, a sign, Moreton Bay. They have the potential. And they should win a corner here. In fact, it will be a goal kick.
Well, you don't win your state league without having a decent side and being able to score a number of goals. It's debatable at this point in time whether Moreton Bay have actually upped their game or whether Blacktown have actually lessened their pace a little bit, their intensity.
A bit of AFL style there. The mark was almost taken by Henderson, and rightfully so. Free kick was given. A little bit of a push as he tried to compete in the air. If you are just joining us here at Lily's Football Centre, Blacktown City FC enjoy a 2-goal lead. Semi-final of the National Premier League final series. Travis Major opened the scoring, and then an own goal from Alex Henderson, a horror deflection, which wrong-footed Luke Borrian. But plenty of time left to get their way back into this game, and in these last 5 or so minutes, it's certainly been them.
It's been certainly a succession of fouls from Blacktown, which is unlike them.
So once again, a chance at the set piece, and we'll look at the tall timber of Scott Stewart going forward. Henderson as well. Scored a number of goals this season in the air. Mendy as well. Though he looks to be shaping up into the Blacktown wall. And Brownlee standing offside, so makes the run back now. They take it short. Training ground move, back to Capello. Didn't quite work out as they hoped, though.
I think it was a waste of a decent opportunity there. Should have got that into the mix. Let the big boys scrap it out.
Yeah, sometimes you can really overcomplicate things with that much tall timber in the area. And can they find them on the break here? Cross comes in, isn't a bad one. I think it was Marlia sliding in. In fact, it was Gibbs. And Borrian did enough to get it clear. Here's Matsura. And that's
a bit of miscommunication there for Speranza.
You can sense a bit of frustration creeping in here in the grandstand. A few cries not quite working here in the second half.
It's a good job. Most of them are 2-0 up. Otherwise, they really would be upset.
Of course, we mentioned there's been a few times this season they've given away handy leads on big occasions. So perhaps some of those moments floating back to the memory. As Borrian comes off his line. Of course, we mentioned earlier in the call.
He's a very frustrated goalkeeper at the moment. When he has got the ball and he's looking to get a quick throw or a quick kick out, nobody's making any move. There's no movement forward. There's no one making runs or anything, and he's left stranded on the edge of his box.
Another free kick to Moreton Bay United.
This one surely will be put into the mix.
Yeah, Adam Pittick sent a rocket from the sideline after that previous free kick. So this one will be a little bit more basic, I think. Certainly got the height in the area to cause some problems. Sent in now. Dangerous looking ball. Stewart's on the scene. He gets ahead to it. Vekic comes off his line and was caught in no man's land. And fortunately, Blacktown win the free kick.
Yeah, he was blocked from going forward for that one. But I think, again, that was perhaps a mildly fortuitous call. Brownlee knew what he was doing there.
But there was a sign of the danger. If they just whip it in the area, sometimes all you need is a touch. And we saw earlier, Henderson, deflection on a night like this with a wet ball, anything can happen. And that man, Henderson, under a little bit of pressure from Araujo. And once again, we can see that press of Blacktown, just making life difficult for Moreton Bay, forcing the long ball, although it works out this time.
I was chatting to a couple of the Jets chaps at the break. I won't mention their names, but they said that basically they were outclassed. Blacktown were playing; they're too big, too strong, playing too well for them to get into it. Even the second goal, even though the deflection was, hard luck on the lad. It all came from a very bad pass.
Although it is 2-0, there hasn't been a host of real clear-cut opportunities for either side. It's been Blacktown that have taken their chances. That's lovely work from Pakatis, and he set Araujo away, and they've got numbers through the middle. If they can move it quickly. Gibbs in possession, and the touch was just a little bit too heavy. Well marshalled, though, by Nakauka. And they'll just find the safety of touch, so a little bit rattled at the back, Moreton Bay.
And of course, Mendy has now switched back to his favoured right side position. So they're trying to switch it around a little bit, change the point of attack, Moreton Bay, but it's just not coming off for him at the moment.
Yeah, I'd like to see Mendy maybe come a bit more central, maybe play more as a number 10. Go a bit more attacking as they try to chase this game, as he has been a handful in everything he's done tonight, and he's done so again. As Brownlee's trying to chase this one. Montford did well in cover. Capello now on the ball. Almost fell to the path of Brownlee, but what about the pace here from Green? Gets the bounce fortuitously. Can he provide the service? Oh, the cross was poor.
Rush of blood there, overhit that with some venom. Straight out for a throw-in on the far side.
He had Brownlee and Mendy in the box, but just couldn't quite direct it into their path.
But at least it shows a little bit more intent from Moreton Bay. It's something that they lacked in the first half, let's be honest.
We do say a big hello to those watching up there in Queensland. Free kick to Moreton Bay. I'm sure you're enjoying the second half, the last 15 or so minutes, because for mine, Moreton Bay on top. Scoreboard mightn't reflect it, but they've had the chances. And you can see a little bit of the frustration creeping in for Blacktown City. Some heated words. Capello sends it in again. It's a dangerous ball. Players go down in the area. Blacktown can't get it away, and that's a great chance now from the edge of the 18-yard. And the pressure begins to mount on Blacktown.
Henderson, who was the unlucky recipient of the own goal, is the one that was fouled there, and he's staying down.
Well, this is the perfect time to talk about Jordan Farina, of course, son of Frank. Scored from a similar position in the NPL Queensland Grand Final. The winner came off the bench on that occasion as well. And wouldn't they love for him to do so again tonight?
It would certainly raise the expectations and the interest level and warm the crowd up a little bit more, because they've got a little bit quiet in this second period, as Moreton Bay have certainly come into it far more.
There's no dispute. Here is Farina. What can he do here, Farina? Straight into the wall. Capello on the follow-up. Bobbing around. It's a chance as well. They've got a goal back.
Stephen Green, I think, got it.
Moreton Bay have got the goal. It was through a host of bodies. And I think it is Green who's getting the plaudits from a teammate. And now they have their goal and the game turns. And Brocky, we have to say, they deserve that.
They've worked hard for it. They've come back into this well and coming from 2-0 up to only 2-1 up. That sets the old nerves in motion.
We'll try and confirm the goal scorer. There was a pack of bodies on the scene, and the important thing, it ended in the back of the net. And, well, doesn't this game have a familiar arc to it? We mentioned that FFA Cup game. The game against Bonnyrigg a month ago. They led 2-0. They lost 4-2. Could we be seeing a similar story? It's all right when they're dictating, but when the game turns, they can't seem to make the adjustment as Moreton Bay surge once again. They are growing. Matsura can't win out. Capello, touch is a little heavy.
This is the time for Blacktown when the old heads really need to come to the fore and settle the guys down, because being 2-0 up and losing 3-2 to Bonnyrigg in the major semi, that will be in the back of their minds now.
Well done by Fra Georgianis to keep it in. Now Major. Can they get a goal back straight away and quell those fears? Because it is game on at the moment. Zarauyo goes back to Picatus. Of course, Blacktown City FC yet to go to their bench tonight. They've got some options on it. Moreton Bay have made 2 changes. Here's Fra Georgianis. And wins a corner.
Well, they've certainly responded well since the goal of Blacktown, but they really do need to settle themselves down. If they can pull ahead, further ahead from this corner, then it's a different kettle of fish again.
Taken short. They've caught Moreton Bay napping. Araujo drills it to the far post. And free kick.
Seems to be a lot of niggly little fouls that have crept into this game in this second half. Maybe it's because the exertions from the first half from Blacktown, but they don't seem to be on the same sort of pace at this stage.
Well, we mentioned that that press that they love to operate with does drain you, and they have played a fair bit of high-intensity football in recent weeks. The grand final, the final series as a whole, of course, last weekend in round 1 of the final series. And Capello can't quite regain possession. Matsura switches things. Here's Malia. Been a little bit quiet here in the second half. He does well to win a corner, though. Hold the phone, Nakauka. I think he saved it there. We'll wait for confirmation. They take the corner quickly, though. They've caught them napping. And Borrian raced off his line. He did well. He's got 2 goals he's had to take out from his net, but other than that, he's been pretty good tonight. The Moreton Bay keeper couldn't do anything with that deflection.
Oh, nothing at all, but harking back to right from the first minute, neither keeper has actually had to make a save.
They've sprung the trap here. Brownlee's away, and Vekic comes off his line. Does well. Brownlee caught him a little with those studs, but players just exchange pleasantries, and referee's going to have a talking to Brownlee, but we'll play on.
But just harking back while we've got this little break, neither keeper has actually had to make a save. It's been one of those games. They've done well when they've come off their line to retrieve a ball, but no saves of any note.
Well, that's a nasty challenge
That's
there from
first
Malia.
card.
He's going to go into the book. And rightfully so, it was from behind. That would sting a little bit. But
I think that had a lot to do with the greasy surface, because there has been a little bit of surface water on this synthetic pitch. You notice it when the ball's rolling along. There's a little spray behind it, so I think that carried him through there. I think it was rather more unfortunate than intentional.
To have to mention, it's interesting that neither has really had to make a save. often on a night like this, wet weather conditions, it's the mantra shoot on sight.
Absolutely. Keep it low and skiddy.
As it's drilled in again. Oh, there's a great chance. It came off the head of Henderson. And Vekic, if that was directed on goal, we could have been level.
Well, it showed a little bit more positivity from the Jets.
They are certainly on top here in the second half.
It's always the same, isn't it? Football, it's a game of two halves.
You've got to credit their coach, Adam Pittick, who has pulled the strings well in the second half. Got them back into this game, and they're on top at the moment. It's Nakauka. He goes long. Well done. Capello with it, and he turns it over to Matsura. Now Araujo's got some space. Great challenge, though. Although Araujo's fortunate to retain possession. Here is Major. Well done by Nakauka. Marshall him well. He's conceded the corner. We mentioned the tactical battle and Adam Pittick's movements on the bench. I think Matt Zapponi has done really well in this second half. Mitchell Malia was everywhere in the first half. Hasn't had much of an impact here in the second.
No, it's certainly been cancelled out. But again, it's whether the exertions of that first half to help create that 2-0 lead.
So Fra Georgiana sends it in. It's a dangerous looking cross. It's bobbing around. Major was on the scene. And Blacktown will win the throw.
Malia going over to take it.
Of course, Blacktown have some options on the bench. Christos Tamaras, Danny Choi, who went off injured in the NPL Grand Final. Jonathan Grozdanovsky is another under-20s player of the year, Golden Boot in the New South Wales under-20s. So he's an option. And it looks like Mark Crittenden is warming them up as Mendy's come in. Here's a great chance for Moreton Bay. Mendy rounds Vekic, but Vekic did well.
Vekic was superb there, and that's probably the first save that's had to be made, and he's had to come out his box to do it. That was brilliant play. Had to be perfectly timed.
And there's a chance for Blacktown if they can move it quickly on the break. Moreton Bay getting numbers behind the ball well, though. Fra Georgiana sends it in. It's a great cross. Oh, there was cross for a handball as well, but well done in the end. And Brownlee's done well. He's turned Montford. So experienced. The most goals in the history of the NPL Queensland. And he's won a corner well.
How quickly the tide turns.
And once again, they'll send the tall troops forward. And we're back to that chance with Mendy and Vekic. It was really who was going to blink first.
Well, if he hadn't timed that one perfectly, he was off. Simple as that. Great play from two good players.
I know Mendy would love to have the chance back, but perhaps something from the set piece. Sent in. Vekic is off his line. He's punching. Nakauka's going to try it from the edge of the area. Get a second bite of the cherry. Does well. Works into the area. That's a great ball across the face. And once again, the chance just breaks down.
Just could not reach that cross with any perfection or ease. Just trickled to Vekic.
And Blacktown City FC are on the ropes here.
They look rattled. They do look rattled.
And this is where Mark Crittenden has to earn his money. Has to make that tactical change. And there's a free kick. And I hate to harp on it, Brocky, but as I said, we've seen this all season with Blacktown.
Absolutely. It's like somebody switches the button off. But now that's happened a couple of times to them, now that the Jets have pulled one back, that's playing on their mind a wee bit. The Jets can sense this. They're going for it.
Well, they are full of life at the moment, and I mentioned the changes may have to be made as Mark Crittenden sends some troops. It's like perhaps Danny Choi has been asked to warm up, so we may see him involved. It's a great chance for Moreton Bay. It's drilled low across the face.
Very sensible ball, that one. Very sensible free kick.
Prevatera was involved on the scene. Mendy's had to chase this one, but he's offside.
And here comes the sub.
We are going to get the change, so Danny Choi wasn't given much time to warm up.
Malia going off, it looks like.
Yeah, we just mentioned he hadn't had much of an impact here in the second. Was brilliant in the first. Matt Zapponi take a bow because he has quelled the danger of Malia here in the second 45. And Danny Choi checks in, arguably perhaps one of the players of the NPL final series. Injured in the grand final.
Yeah, it was interesting to see him start on the bench.
So Makauka has to go back to Borient. He's put under a little bit of pressure.
Well, there's that fresh injection of pace from Choi.
Here's Zapponi. Just cut out though. If you're just joining us, you've come at a great time. And there's Danny Choi straight off the bench and the tricks are out. 2-1. Blacktown City FC. They took a 2-0 lead to half time, but it's been a different story here in the second. That's a dangerous tackle from behind. Studs was showing. Again, I think it was more mistimed than malicious.
Sliding through on the greasy surface.
I think it was Scott Stewart, the man that's gone into the book. It's difficult to pick up the numbers on that far side of the field. As we tick to the half-hour mark here in the second half, just 15 minutes remaining. Can Blacktown strike a blow and extend their lead? Oh, Mendy thought it may just open up for him. And it will do now. That's a great ball. Henderson opening things up from the back. Here's Capello, nice touch. And that's not quite what Farina wanted. In fact, it was Stewart.
Blacktown trying to expend as much time as possible.
Of course, we need a winner tonight. If we are level after the 90 minutes, we go to extra time and penalties.
And that'll be the last thing that Blacktown City want.
Of course, we mentioned it earlier, the accumulation of points to determine where the final is staged. That goal will hurt Blacktown City FC. 3 points for a goal. Lose points, of course, for conceding.
And for the cards.
Here's Mendy. Loves to run at defenders. He's found some space. He's got Brownlee in the middle, but that's a great challenge from Montford.
He has grown in stature during this game as Montford. Very impressive.
He's had to fill the void. Really, the back two all year has been Cancross and Matt Lewis, and Montford has certainly done well tonight. Dangerous ball again, but Blacktown get it clear. Straight back into no one in particular. It's well won. Thought for a second it was going to fall to Green. But Blacktown clean up and they'll be able to break here. Choi just can't quite get possession.
But I think Moreton Bay have finally got it into their head that they've got to get the ball in the mix, and they're pumping it in there on every opportunity, whether it be from distance, free kicks, or whether they can get themselves into the box. They're putting it into the mix, and they're trying their best to get back on level pegs.
Rayo's just left it short for Matsura. Well pinched by Capello. That man hustling once again. Choi sends it in. Green. Henderson slipped. Matsura leaves it for Major and just scuffs his shot at the important time, and it goes wide.
I think he thought that ball was coming onto him a little bit little bit quicker. He seemed to be halfway through the shot before the ball actually reached him.
There's a sign of their second half right there. Misfiring Blacktown City FC. We mentioned they really swept all before them in the NPL of New South Wales. 2 losses in the league all season. They were 5 points clear at the top at the end. But it was on the big days that they let themselves down. They lost the Waratah Cup final, FFA Cup round of 32, and the big one on grand final day. Hoping not to do the same here tonight as Farina sends it long. Now Capello. Nakauka links up with Capello. Does well to beat a couple of defenders. Now Gibbs finds Araujo. Great ball long from Blacktown. Choi found himself in the area. He's trying to link with Gibbs, but Henderson clears.
Just couldn't pull it back far enough for it to get through to Gibbs. Defence being able to get back there and put it out for another throw on that far side.
So some precious seconds tick off the clock, and it looks like we're going to get our second change for Blacktown. Not for the moment, though, as we play on. Here's Choi. Certainly added a little bit of a spark since coming on. Gibbs. Choi decides to go alone. Now links with Matsura. Now Major. It's Fradrogiannis. Now Araujo's got some room to shoot if he wants. Now puts it on the right boot. And Borean makes a comfortable save. Always tricky in wet conditions, but he did it well. Now they've got some numbers if they can use it. Well done from Green. Mendy's got some space. Flag is up for offside, though.
That must have been a very, very tight decision. Would have been interesting to see Fragianis going up against Mendy in a one-on-one. And now we get the sub.
We are getting that second change for Blacktown City FC. And Travis Major's going to make way. And Jonathan Grozdanovsky to come on. We saw him at a similar time in the NPL Grand Final just a couple of weeks ago. We mentioned his quality. NPL Under-20s Golden Boot Player of the Year as well.
Major does. He's trudging off. He looks spent. Absolutely spent. Looks like he's given everything.
I think he's trying to soak up
Run
a bit of
down
the clock as well. But certainly worked himself hard. Got a goal tonight, Travis Major.
Very well worked goal with Malia going down the left and putting in a peach of a cross for him to almost tap home.
So, under 10 minutes remaining here at Lily's Football Centre. Blacktown City FC have the lead. It's a slender one, though, and Moreton Bay have been on top for much of this second half. Nice ball from Gibbs. Now Choi. Here's Matsura. Now Fradrogiannis. He whips it in. And it's a poor cross from him. It's what we haven't seen in this second half. That first half, Malia, Speranza, Fradrogiannis getting in behind. They've done well to clog that up.
There's no two ways about that, but there's been a dearth of the whipped-in cross in this second period, but then they haven't been able to attack the flanks and get down them as easily and readily as they did in the first.
I think the threat of Mendy and Farina now down that right-hand flank certainly kept them on their toes too. Speranza and Fradrogiannis more on their defensive duties than attack.
Well, I think it would have been more of a case that there's been a lot of misplaced passes coming from the Jets, and that's relieved an awful lot of pressure for Blacktown at crucial periods and crucial times when they're attacking play. Another sub.
Yeah, we're going to get our second change for...
Third change.
Sorry, the final change. You're right, Brocky, for Moreton Bay FC, and it's going to be Ryota Nakauka to make way, Finn Beekhurst to come on. So that is it for Adam Piddick. No more options as he searches for an equaliser. Now Grozdanovsky's got some room. It's going to go to goal, Grozdanovsky, and across the face.
Gibbs, unfortunately, not able to utilise his pace and get onto that one, but he's done some hard yards tonight, Gibbs. He hasn't been on the end of too much, but he's certainly been dragging that defence about left, right and centre.
And Grozdanovski's shot took a deflection on its way, so it's a corner, which they take quickly. And was that man, Grozdanovski, that got pulled off it? Didn't go to ground though, so referee says play on. He does well to win it back. So he's given away a free kick and crowd not happy. Well done by Green. He's come deeper. And that's a yellow card for Sasamatsura. So
that's not going to help the cause when it comes to hosting a final if they get through.
Of course, the second semi-final tomorrow afternoon. Bayswater taking on Olympia FC. See who will book their place, and of course you'll see all the live action at nationalpremierleagues.com.au. And by no means are we guaranteed our winner here just yet.
And this could be quite inopportune for Moreton Bay if the player is unable to continue after that challenge. They've just used their last sub. They could go down to 10, but probably unlikely at this stage.
Well, challenges like that certainly sting on a cold night. And we mentioned it's been driving rain throughout the evening. I think it's Stephen Green that's down.
It is.
He's certainly been one of their best here in the second half, but I think the light rain still continues to trickle. As time ticks on, the magic spray is out.
We'll just wait for the sponge now and the bucket man, and we'll be laughing. We'll be back underway.
Does wonders, the old magic spray. There's Green. He does look in some trouble. Hopefully, for Moreton Bay's sake, he can run this off.
He's certainly favouring that right leg. It looks like the keeper's up to take this one.
So Borean sends it long. Mendy's on the scene. So too is Henderson. It comes to Farina, I think it was. And Blacktown will just get it clear. And I'll tell you what, they've put Borean in a little bit of danger. How about the trickery from him?
Very smart. He's happy he got away with that one.
I'll tell you what, showed composure. They take the throw quickly. Brownlee gets pulled off it. He's worked hard tonight, Royce Brownlee. Hasn't had a lot of opportunities. And now Mendy. Nice head on. Montford tries to body him off the ball. Now Fragigiannis.
Not a fan of playing a ball across like that at the back.
We mentioned the composure of Blacktown. They showed it there. They love to play out from the back. Mark Crittenden probably not a fan. Now Gibbs. He's put Matsura under a little bit of pressure, but he did it well.
Just under 4 minutes and stoppage to endure for Blacktown City or for Moreton Bay to pull back the equaliser.
And Araujo sends it long. The fact that is that man now on the ball. Pass came from Choi, and he links up with him again. Now Araujo can't quite fall to Gibbs. And still, we're yet to see Blacktown try to shut up shop. It is their way.
That's all a coach can do. He can prepare the side, but when the players are out there, he's pretty much stuffed with what he can and can't do.
They look to find a third goal, which would certainly shore up this game. And time is ticking away for Moreton Bay. Just 3 minutes of normal time remain. And we mentioned the pressure of sitting on Blacktown. Of course, it's been a season of missed opportunities in some areas, but we talk about Sydney United, 58 have won this competition. Bonnyrigg made the final last year, so there is an expectation that they'll do just as well as their Football New South Wales neighbours.
Well, New South Wales does have a proud tradition in this very young competition, but Blacktown, they're doing enough at the moment.
They'll have to earn it. Araujo, nice touch from him. Here's a chance. Borean makes the save. He wastes little time getting us back underway. It was Beakhurst who went clattered down. I thought it was a free kick, but we play on. I don't think we've seen Stephen Green rejoin, so it looks like they're down to 10. In fact, Green is out there, so he has rejoined the field. And
He snuck back on.
He looks to be doing okay, so good signs. Now Mendy. Moreton Bay will have the throw. No, they won't. So some nervous moments up there in Queensland if you're a Moreton Bay United supporter.
Well, I think on their second half showing that they've proven that they're worthy of reaching this stage of the competition. And if they do lose, then we will wish them a very, very safe trip back up to Brisbane.
Well, they have done themselves proud and their fans, and they're not out of this one yet. Something the National Premier League is known for is late drama. It's across the country.
Wouldn't be the National Premier Leagues if there wasn't.
And having seen Blacktown play a number of times this year, they are known for it in 2015.
As the minutes tick away, you think they'll be feeling a little bit happy, a little bit safer. They'll be feeling more nervous.
And Borean just sends it long. It's Route 1 stuff. It may just fall to the path of Mendy. And Blacktown still unable to get it away. Now Choi. Don't want to try anything silly there. And anywhere will do for Blacktown. Green is the last man. That was fortunate. Henderson. Ball marshalled there by Grozdanovsky. Nice touch. It just breaks down, and now they have the numbers if they can move it. Matsura surging forward. Now Rayo, good turn. And we'll have 4 minutes of added time, so 4 minutes remaining here at Lillies Football Centre. Blacktown City FC 2, Moreton Bay United 1.
And for Moreton Bay, the time has come for them to just lump it long into the box. They've got no time to be pretty and fancy. They've got to get it in there, and they've got to try and get that equaliser.
And there's a card as well for Farina, I think it is.
I believe so, number 7.
It is.
Which doesn't help Moreton Bay's cause, because that will just eat up a bit of that 4 minutes, of which a minute is almost gone.
And Jordan Farina has been a bright spark since coming on. He's lifted the energy. Of course, it was his free kick which in the end led to the equaliser. We have credited that goal to Stephen Green, but it was through a host of bodies. And is there a final twist in the tail? Farina gets the head on, and there's a handball. Almost directed into the path of Brownlee, but is this a chance?
Well, it's in comfortable distance, around about 25, maybe 30 out. Yeah, it's going to be pulled back to around about 30 yards out, so you'd expect from the earlier free kick they had, they might actually try and put this one in hard and low.
Well, it was Farina. We mentioned it before. He scored from around this area in the NPL Grand Final. It gave Moreton Bay the title. And could it bring them level again? We are in stoppage time. What can he do here? Farina from distance. And it's over the wall, but not on its intended target.
It's over the wall, over the bar. But they really do need to just get that ball lumped in long into the box, just get it into the mix with everybody, whether that be low on the ground or whether that be the high ball in. They've just got to get in there now. They've got no options. They lose 3-1 or they pull back an equaliser. If they lose 3-1, it makes no difference to 2-1.
Well, he rolled the dice there with everything on black and came up a little bit short, but you just never know. 90 seconds remain here at Lillies Football Centre, and for now, Blacktown City FC hang on to a slender lead.
Just under a minute and a half to go.
As we mentioned, both of these sides were favourites to host the final if they got there. Semi-final tomorrow in Perth, Bayswater versus Olympia FC, so we'll wait and see who prevails there. Could be 3 successive home games for Blacktown City. Job is almost done. Here's Grozdanovsky. Does well. Shot comes in, and Borean makes the save. And there is barely time left. Can they get something with Green? Well done from Aurelio. He's been good tonight in the centre of the park. Green tries to bring him down, but Aurelio keeps his feet well.
Sensibly taking it down to the corner.
Yeah, showing his smarts, but Green does well. So 20 seconds remain. All eyes on the referee here at Lily's Football Centre. Brownlee steals in. There's a race on for Mendy. Looks like he was on skates there at the moment. He just lost his footing, and it's a free kick.
But as ever, it was Captain Fantastic. Cairncross back there to shepherd that ball and win the free kick. Shows his smarts.
That just might wrap us up here at Lily's Football Centre. That is a lot of time. 4 minutes of added time is done, and there's cries for a whistle. And the home side could be into the National Premier League final. We play on. Moreton Bay will have to hurry. Pocahontas just sends it long, and that is it. Confirmation, Blacktown City FC are on their way to the National Premier League's final. It's a competition that Football New South Wales teams have done well in, and now Blacktown City FC will go to the final day. They were brave in the second half, Moreton Bay though, but in the end it's Blacktown City FC 2-1, and Mickey Brock, that second half, it was not all Blacktown.
No way was it Blacktown. You've got to credit Moreton Bay for a fantastic comeback there. They threw everything, almost, if they had a kitchen sink, that would have been in there as well. They did extremely well in that second half. They knew what was at stake. They came back. Unfortunately, the early work from Blacktown, particularly down the left flank with Malia and Major and Henderson's own goal, that was their undoing. Unlucky in the end, but a brave, brave effort from Moreton Bay.
Yeah, you've got to credit the Queenslanders for showing fight. Adam Piddick tactically did exceptionally well to get them back into the game, and they had their chances in the second half. Unfortunately for them, just couldn't quite take a couple of them. Of course, it finished 2-1. Blacktown City FC, they are favourites to host the final. There's no confirmation of that yet. Of course, I mentioned the second semi-final tomorrow. Bayswater host Olympia FC. We will know their opponents and, of course, where it will be held across the weekend. If you want to see tomorrow's semi-final, live coverage on nationalpremierleagues.com.au. But for now, we wave goodbye from Lily's Football Centre. Adam Santarossa, on behalf of Mickey Brock in the team, saying good night at full time. It's Blacktown City FC 2, Moreton Bay United 1.